Hi, welcome back to Simply Mums podcast, a space where we talk about parenting, faith, life, and anything growth and anything in between. Today, we're going to talk about something that we don't normally prioritize adults, but normally need: friendships, and how to make those last, through the many seasons of life. As parents, business owners, professionals, caregivers, and all of those things that we do. When life gets busy, which it does often, the first thing that sits on the back burner is what? Is friendships. However, we need to know that friendships are not a luxury. They are lifelines. They see you through life. They are your emotional lifelines. God made it in a way that we need to have friends. Friendships support us through marriage, singleness, grief, parenting, career changes, becoming different versions of our lives, etc., etc. God did not design us to live life alone. That's why He made sure that we have to have friends. And you know what? The friendships sometimes have seasons. Trying to understand the seasons of friendships. Friendships will have seasons. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is friendships don't fail because they change. There are seasons where you talk every day, once a month, once in a few months, and then there are periods of silence, or call it grace, and then there are periods of showing up for each other physically, where you plan to meet, say, for certain things. And sometimes friendship feels like a text. Sometimes it's a text, sometimes it's a prayer. Do change as we grow up, and we have to be understanding of our friendships. So for example, if one of your friends is at uni, I'm talking about a mother in this case. If she's a mother, she's at uni, she's busy, she's doing placements and all that type of jazz, I think you have to give them grace that they're not going to be reaching out every day or every time. Or if they have a busy lifestyle, they started a new business, they are giving it their all. If they go silent, please be understanding of that. Don't take it personal, okay? And also, if they're going through a life change, they just had a baby, or they just got married, or something has happened in their life, give them grace and be understanding to help them through that. It can take one or two ways. It can go one or the other way. Some people, when they get married, they just get lost, and if you don't reach out, sometimes you lose them. So you also need to know when to turn up for your friends. If someone has lost a parent, someone has gone through a loss, I think if they're quiet or they go silent, it's good to reach out and just check on them, find out how they are doing, and let them know that you're thinking about them or that you're there for them. So if we want friendships to last in adulthood, we have to mature in the way we relate to each other. Here are a few tips that could help. 1. Let go of unrealistic expectations and understand that people are also living their own lives. That doesn't mean that you're being aloof. Just understand that people are going through stuff in life and give them grace. Another thing we could do is communicate, especially when it feels uncomfortable. That is, if maybe you had an argument or a discussion where you both disagreed on something, choose understanding and communicate and talk about it. Don't just keep quiet when things go wrong. Communicate about it, talk about it, and resolve that. So resolving out, especially when someone has done something that you don't like, communicate it, let them know. Another thing we could do is stop keeping score. This one did this last time, the other one did this the other time, and that type of back and forth, it doesn't help. So we'll need to let go of that. Honor each other's responsibility and growth. Just know that as adults, we are growing, and we also have responsibilities. So honor each other's responsibilities and growth, period. Apologize quickly and forgive sincerely. Choose grace over assumptions. I think for me, recently I've learned to give people a lot of grace. I don't know if it's the years. As I'm growing older, I'm learning to give people grace. Give people grace. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. They might be your friends, but they may not be wanting to talk about stuff, and some of them keep quiet and they just handle it different ways. So just give them grace. Healthy friendships don't compete, don't compare, and don't guilt trip someone because of their growth. Healthy friendships adapt through seasons. Ecclesiastes reminds us that two are better than one, and Proverbs reminds us that a friend is loving at all times. So before we sign off today, if you could take a moment to text a friend who you've not heard from for a while, or a friend who has been there through the different seasons of your life. If this message has spoken to you, feel free to share it with someone. And like we said, friendships are really important. So make sure that you keep them. Text that friend that you've not heard from in a while. Text that friend who's seen you through so many seasons of your life. That friend who was there for you when you lost someone. That friend who always turns up. That friend who always shows up for you. That friend you have the good times and the bad times together. That friend that you joke with, but you're also able to tell something, what's on your heart. That friend who can tell when you're going through stuff and reach out without asking questions. That friend who does not judge you, or who makes a safe space for you to say what you need to say. And that friend who reaches out when they don't hear from you for a while. When you have been the one sending a message, checking on them all the time, and then they realize that you're no longer doing that. That friend who checks in just to check that you're okay. Send them a message. Until next time, ciao.